People package these things so well. Sometimes you can't get into them. Well, what we got here is a Carl Zeiss Jena 28mm f2.8, and that just seems to be working. Looks like there's a few fingerprints on there. What I do about that is, I hope it's fingerprint, not an abrasion. I just use my glasses. Okay, that's all right now. If you can see that. It's perfect. And I had to pay, I think it was £25 for this one. And that seemed to be, I bid on it, and that was, my top bid was £25, and I got it for £25 exactly. And there were other ones for sale for about that price, but with a buy now on it. So, and at that price it needs to be perfect. And it is, and so it's good, because you're going to use it for a long time, and you know, I haven't got the money to buy expensive lenses, so that's about as good as it gets to be able to get a Carl Zeiss Jena lens from the 1980s, the late 80s, an electric version with a Praktika mount, I would say. I have got, I'll just check that. This is the one that I want to replace. This is a 28mm Miranda lens. And I think this is Pentax PK mount, and I have a whole set of Pentax PK mount lenses, but I don't have a 28mm that fits my other adapter. This is it here. Oh no, this is a PK mount. This is a Pentax mount, I think. Not that one. Okay. Right. So that goes together. Two Miranda lenses, 70 to 210, 28mm. But this one, where's the adapter for this one? Okay, this is a 50mm, this is a Carl Zeiss Jena 50mm lens, and so it should fit on here. That's good. And then it will go on this one. Now, the reason I did this was because my other adapter, my PK adapter doesn't fit on this particular body. So this is my best body, and so my best lens set are the Carl Zeiss lenses, and so should be a little red dot somewhere. Here it is. So there we have it. And we have but it looks rather nice. I can see already there's a certain sharpness to it. They're really great lenses, the Carl Zeiss, and you would pay, well, if you can get them nowadays, you can afford to buy a Carl Zeiss lens nowadays, you're going to be paying big money, between 500 and 1,000 probably pounds for a lens, a Carl Zeiss lens. And so they're a good investment. £25 is a good investment. Now I'll just turn that off. The other thing that came, get rid of this. The other thing that I got at the same time while I was on the internet looking for this sort of stuff was this little camera here. And I was doing a bit of research. I was looking for something that would do 1080p video, because I've only got one camera that does 1080p. That's my main one that I'm using now. And if I want another camera angle, I don't have anything. And so I was looking for something cheap. Now, I could use my iPhone, but I don't like to use an iPhone. It doesn't have proper mount to go on a tripod and this sorts of thing. You need to get special stuff. I don't like using an iPhone for video work anyway. And so I saw this camera. This is a Olympus SZ-16, and it was only £14 because it's got a little crack in the corner of the screen here. Oh, and it doesn't turn on except you have to pull the battery in and out like that, and then it always works. Don't know why that is, must time out or something. And so it's really a point and shoot camera, and very, very good, easy camera to use. And one of the reasons I was interested in this camera is because it's got a huge macro facility. You can focus within just a few centimeters, so it's really good for taking pictures of flowers and things like that. And if you just want to pick a camera up and do a close-up shot, and you've got all the zoom facility, I'll just put it on macro. Come on. It's very intuitive to actually use it. You don't need much experience using it. The white balance is on the wrong thing. What else do we need? We need to put it on the macro. Super macro. Okay. There you go, look at that. Very, very good at macro. And it's got good image stabilization in it and everything. And so for 14 or 13 pounds, it's good. I can take it on my boat and not be worried about losing it or getting it wet or something like that. You can see it's got a lens cover that goes on automatic, so you can quickly open it up, take a shot or a bit of video, and then close it up again, stick it in your pocket on the boat. So there's a lot of advantages to the little camera. Super macro, easy point and shoot. What it doesn't have is it doesn't have any way to control the exposure. You can up and down the exposure. You can also shift and lock the exposure just by changing the position of the camera, what's in the viewfinder, and that will change the exposure. But you can't set the manually set the aperture any of that kind of thing. You can set the ISO manually, so you can set it to 100 ISO and shoot away with it. But there are certain limitations. So it doesn't replace these kind of studio cameras that you can set accurately and exactly what you want. It's not a studio camera, it's a good point and shoot camera. And so what I did today was I went out and carried on doing another session of street photography, photojournalism around Bromyard to add to my Bromyard documentary. And so I'm going to close this video off with a slideshow, if you like, of the pictures that I got today with this little camera. So my last, if you want to know how I take my shots, there's another video called, in the Art of Photography series, called Photojournalism, where I go through the whole process. But in this case, I'm just going to show you the final pictures that I took today. There might have been about 20 or so that I got in my session, maybe an hour shooting, an hour and a half shooting. And it was in the afternoon light, but at this time of the year the sun is very low in the sky, and the sun was out a little bit, and so quite nice light really. And I enjoyed shooting with this camera for the first time, and the shots were slightly higher quality than what one would get out of an iPhone. And also the ability, it's a super zoom this, so it will zoom into the equivalent of about 400mm lens and also give you a wide angle. So you've got a lot of choice of framing possibilities. You can shoot small close-up, and you can also shoot the very high macro close-up, macro zoom, macro as well. So it's a very, very versatile little camera really, and I was surprised that I could pick it up for such a low price, because they generally sell them for over £100 on eBay. So £13, a bit of a bargain really. I wouldn't want to pay much for it, because you can get you can get one of these for that price, which is a much better camera if you equip it with a Carl Zeiss lens. Now it's 28mm, the equivalent of just under a 50mm. So this will give me some of the shots that I was having trouble getting with my 50mm lens. There was two telephoto. So I'll be going back and taking some of the shots. And the other thing is if there are some shots that I took with this that allow me to explore some of the compositions, I might actually go back and retake some now that I know what my best final viewpoints are for the subjects, and set a tripod up and take some really outstanding quality shots of not the same, I won't do exactly the same, but it will be maybe similar subject matter to some of the shots in here, some of the better ones. Okay, enjoy the exhibition. I thought I should quit you. A long time ago. I thought I should quit you. A long time ago. Take my bicycle or my seaboat, head on off down to Mexico. If I'd followed my first mind, if I'd followed my first mind, I'd be long gone dead now, baby, down that old landslide.
Well, a man gotta watch himself. He's gotta watch himself a little more. A man gotta watch himself. He gotta watch himself a little more. You gotta watch you don't end up on that killing floor.
Can just get your mind together and come on across to me. We'll hold hands and we'll watch the sunrise from the bottom of the sea. But first, are you experienced? Have you ever been experienced? Well, I am. Probably scream and cry at your little world won't let you go. Who in your measly little world are you trying to prove that you're made out of gold and it can't be so? But first, are you experienced? I'm asking you now. Experienced. Can you get your mind together and come on across to me? We'll watch the sunrise together on the bottom of the sea. But first,